Welcome back to Denver's Afternoon Rush. Dan Mueller along with Andy Pate and Cam Spiracy in for the vacationing John Rush. And we've got Lindsey Singer coming up next from Colorado Rising Action. And Lindsey, is there really still a possibility of a special session down at the state capitol here in Denver?
Yeah, there is still some talk about that, and it's good to be with you guys this afternoon. But as disappointing as it is, the Democrats feel like they need more of our money. So they want to go into a special session. Any deal they say they're going to make that benefits Coloradans, just don't believe it.
Well, I really would like my $300.
Sure, absolutely. And the problem is that the Proposition CC, which they passed during the session, it's going to be on the 2019 ballot, and it asks us to permanently give up our tax refunds under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. And when they did that, they didn't think that they were going to have any money this year, so they made it start next year and go forever after that. But now they're like, oh, well, now the projections are saying there's $575 million available to go back to taxpayers, and they just can't stand that they're going to miss out on that.
Lindsey, if that goes, now you're saying they're going to have that go to a vote, right?
Proposition CC would be a vote.
Right.
If it's a special session,
what makes
then they would, all cards are on the table.
If we can all vote, and now you're saying we can all vote on that, so what makes them think that we would pass that?
Well, I think they are counting on the whole argument that the money is going to go to fix our roads, which is something that we all have said for years we care about. Across the state, it's one of the top polling issues that people say they care about. And to education. It'll be a third K-12, a third higher ed, and a third to our roads and bridges. But there's really they've even admitted that because this is a statutory change, there's no assurance that money is actually going to go there. The next legislative session could change that around completely. And because it's not a consistent amount, or, our tax refunds, they were projecting it at 60-something million during the session, and now it's up to 575. So it's really not consistent, and you can't bond off of that for road fixes. So it's not a good way to fix those issues, but they're going to count on people wanting that those things fixed so badly that they'll just vote for it. But
Lindsey,
have voted down.
Lindsey, you could sure start a lot of social programs with that money. Maybe you could save the planet by doing some more green initiatives. There's all sorts of things. Maybe some more bike paths. Maybe we could start safe injection sites. There's all sorts of great progressive liberal programs we could do with that money.
Sure, if they were just honest with what they actually wanted to spend it on, then voters could say no to that instead.
Exactly.
I want to save the planet with safe injection sites.
I do too. Keep those needles inside.
I think we can do this.
Maybe. I don't know.
Lindsey, how would that sell? And by the way, isn't this money kind of fungible? So if we pass something and direct, we keep that money, we don't give it back in the refund, and we direct it towards something like schools, or we direct it towards something we actually, really want it to go to, roads and bridges, right? Can't they say, okay, now that
if the government keeps that money?
Right, if government, by we, mm-hmm. I'm talking on their behalf. Okay, I'm talking on their behalf. I'm literally playing the devil's advocate. Here we go.
Absolutely.
All right, so they say we're going to keep this money and we're going to direct it toward roads and bridges. Everybody wants better roads and bridges. Can't they take some of the money that was already allocated for roads and bridges and move it elsewhere, saying we now have this money coming in?
Yeah, I'm sure they can play all kinds of, I'm not exactly sure how the inside baseball works, but I know things like that can be changed around within the general fund, and it's really complicated. I pay attention to this stuff, and it's confusing. So to make the general public understand it, it's just one of those things that, Highway 36 just collapsed. So that's an emergency that needs to be fixed, and
right.
People need the roads across our state. So it's something that I think the Democrats, the liberals, are counting on us just being, throwing our hands up and saying, we do need this fixed. Just take my money.
Lindsey, can I ask you a big picture question?
Absolutely.
What's the future of TABOR?
That is that's a two-part answer here, because
okay.
I think that the people in Colorado really like TABOR. Actually, almost 72% of people, undecided voters, Republicans, and some Democrats really like TABOR, especially if you explain to them what it is, that it allows us to control the size of government, and it allows us to have a say on tax increases. And so I think that is a really, really good sign, but I think a lot of people have moved here since TABOR was passed and didn't necessarily vote it into law, so maybe take it for granted. Don't see that is a huge reason why Colorado has the number one economy in the nation, which it does. Right now, I'm worried about how some of the last legislative session will impact that, but I think in huge part because of TABOR. So we really need to educate people who weren't around for the whole, educating at the beginning when people voted it in, and now I think people kind of take it for granted because we're doing really well in our economy.
Okay, and our guest is Lindsey Singer. She's with Colorado Rising Action. And Lindsey, just I got about a minute or so, but just real quick, go through what process has to happen for a special session to take place.
I'm not an expert on this. I believe right now the governor is working on making deals. He said that he won't go forward with it unless he has some Republican support. So Republicans really, really need to stand together on this one because any deal that they think they're making with the governor is a deal with the devil. It's not going to be a good deal for Coloradans. But I believe that the governor can call it. I'm not exactly sure. You'd have to ask a more of a legislative expert than me, but I'll try to get back to you on that.
Okay, really appreciate that. And by the way, any of you Republicans out there thinking of going along with this, well, we're coming after you. You cross this line, we're coming after you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, big time. I'm just saying. Lindsey, how can people find out more about you and Colorado Rising Action?
We're ColoradoRisingAction.org. We're on Facebook and Twitter, and would appreciate you can sign up for our emails at ColoradoRisingAction.org.
Wonderful. Lindsey, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and effort. Keep up the good work down there.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, up next is Dennis Brewster with